Hello, hello. Welcome to this space. Welcome to this space. Our beautiful Acasma Sacred Alignment session. And also, we're going to have a little space for Q&A. Thank you, Doreen. Thank you. So, Holy Divine Ones, I'm so grateful to be in this now with you. I'm so honored and grateful to have found one another and to be experiencing our expansion together. Yes, you are a beautiful collective of beings that I am honored to walk with, to be with, to expand with. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'd like to go ahead and start with the questions. That way we can end with this sacred alignment space. And I feel like that would be a very good order to allow everyone then to kind of sit with that energy if they care to longer. I feel like that would be a good idea. So I have some questions that were sent in to me and I can go over those, but I wanted to make it available for anyone who is here in our live. If you have a question that you would like to ask that we could bring forth and get more clarity in this beautiful space right here. So you can either type it in and I'll see it come up in the chat. I'll read it out loud and answer it, or if you'd like to use your audio, you can, or you'll come off camera, whatever's good for you. So I'll just give a moment. If anyone has anything they'd like to send in, just let me know. I can go ahead and begin with one of the other questions as well. And then if you have a question, I want you to know that I honor you in this space and I'm happy to answer. All right, let me open up these notes here. All right. All right, so here's one for you. This is one of our beautiful sisters here in this space that she's not here today, but she wrote me about this space that she's navigated, and someone else may have a connection point here. So let me answer her question, reference this. So she is aligned with the understanding of her wholeness, meaning she understands her wholeness. But her question is, do I have any guidance on handling spaces where it is more difficult for the physical now version to really come from that space? Because the body, the physical body and the mental, the mind is all really digging into feeling all of those spaces that are available that are denser. So I'm paraphrasing because it was a very long email that was shared, but it's very good. I'm grateful to have received it, and I feel like it will benefit others as well. So without getting super personal on her particular spaces and just sharing that understanding. So what does one do when one is logically and even consciously aware of the understanding of themselves as eternal and as their wholeness, but then has those moments as their now physical version who is really not feeling that wholeness taking over and coming in and being neutral and flowing and allowing, but instead they're feeling the absolute opposite, like they want to scream or they want to cry or they want to, totally opposite of feeling neutral and flow. Well, I thought a lot about this because this is the key of a lot of my teachings are like really embedded in this understanding of oneself, and it is the core of being free. It is the core of the human owning their sovereignty and being free to have peace in their lives, right? So I'm going to try to just do hands-on tools because I've done the teachings in so much detail that I feel like many would be just like, okay, been there, done that, heard that. Can you do this in a little different manner that might click differently? So let's do hands-on. Let's all imagine a space or maybe a memory of a space you have, and you can bring healing to it as we're talking about it in this Q&A. But if that space arises where the physical body and the brain, the thought processes, your personality is wanting to just come out and say, you know, you never listen to me, or you judge everything I do, or I'm never good enough for you, or how dare you say that to me, or, you know, whatever our thing is, whatever the space is. In that exact moment, if you can allow yourself to make that mental notation of the way that feels. You know, it feels like crap. It feels very big. It feels very frustrating. It feels daunting. It feels dense. And so if you can make note of, this feels very uncomfortable. This feels very dense. This feels very wrong. I don't like the way I feel. Everyone can do that, right? I think everyone here can say, yep, already got that down. Well, what I need you to do is, in that moment of, that's awareness, even into the understanding of the feeling you're having, allow that awareness of how it's feeling to be connected to a line of enlightenment, a line of your truth that says, I am in control over how I feel. And the experience I'm having is, I'm allowing it to create the feeling I'm having in my mind. That's how I'm reading it, right? I feel this way because of them. I feel this way because of it. But in essence, when you're having that feeling, if you hold that awareness and you allow that alignment in your being to say, wait a minute, I have separated myself out. I have taken this completely on my own now version. And this is why it feels this way. If you can picture yourself, this is just things I do that work for me. And I don't even have to implement these anymore, because now I live from a space where I have a default setting of neutrality. And I was the farthest thing from it in the beginning. I was the get so angry because the door didn't shut right. You know, and you feel like you want to rip the cupboard door off the wall. I mean, back in the beginning of my space of owning my mastery and understanding my consciousness and directing my energy, I was all over the place. My energy was directing me. And so here's what works for me. I actually envision in my head really quickly, Andrea, this now person you have right here in front of you. And I see myself in the space with the other person or the experience, whatever, my own thoughts, whatever's happening. I see myself and I feel the feelings. I'm aware that they are uncomfortable. I'm aware that I don't like them. I'm aware that I am the director of them. And I envision Andrea. Now, this is in the beginning. This changes as you work with this more and more. I envision Andrea leaning over. So her back is kind of arched, and on her back are all these big blocks of density. And they're all connected to this experience she's having. And I do use these types of pronouns or whatever you want to call them, I don't even know, to describe it, because that helps me remember the wholeness, my eternalness, my soul that is within Andrea. And Andrea is a focus point for my soul to continue to expand its understanding of itself. So I see that visual if it feels daunting, and I allow myself to say, do I want to carry those blocks around any longer? Because nobody put them on my back but me. Many times when we have these spaces with others or our own thoughts, all of the time, 100% of the time, not many times, 100% of the time, it is our interpretation of the thought, our interpretation of the space, our interpretation of the relationship, the argument, the experience, that is creating the blocks, the big, heavy densities that we feel we have on top of our backs. And they will They will push you to your knees. They will push you to tears. They will push you to feeling as if you're breaking and you're all alone and nobody is there and nobody gets you and it's all you. It's all on you. And that is no one else's fault but ours. No one else is forcing us to feel like we're alone. That's our perception. No one else is forcing us to feel like nobody gets us. We have no control over spaces. We have to just do this because this is what's expected of us. That is our interpretation. That is our belief structure. That is our perception, if that is where we're at. So no one, no experience, no relationship, no one is doing anything to you that you're not allowing. And that's a really big starting point. So as the experiences are unfolding, you are given the opportunity to really own your power and either continue to carry the big blocks around on your back and continue to play out the same scenarios, the same programming, the same responses, the same personality traits that you've always played out before. Own every title, own every story if you choose, and continue that path. It will continue to flag you. It will continue to create experiences one right after another that get bigger and bigger and bigger because it's you designing spaces to push you to learn how to control your energy, to be your sovereign being, and to move into a new way of aligning your life. All of that in itself is a huge tool. Yes, it's similar to many of the spaces I've shared before, but you're hearing me from a space of you've never listened to me before. When you have the altercation, sense the energy. This sucks. This feels crappy. This feels angry. This feels frustrating. This feels lonely. This feels depression, whatever it is. And then say to yourself, that's a space, but that's not me. You've got to start separating yourselves out from the energies. That's a space that I built through my own perception of what I was experiencing, but that's not me. That's not me. And then in that moment, if you need to use the visual, see yourself, your now version, and see all those big blocks upon the back, and understand that those are all the spaces of the same space that you've been carrying all of your life. And until you acknowledge you put the blocks on your own back, your father didn't put them there, your mother didn't put them there, your sister didn't put them there, your brother didn't put them there, your husband didn't put them there, your wife didn't put them there, your kid didn't put them there. This isn't to like barrage you with it's all your fault, but I'm trying to tell you it's all your power. It's all your power. Even that's a perception. That's a heavy, huge shift of understanding. It's just knowing that you have that much power. You have that much power. And many, many, many times when we have these spaces with others, they don't even feel or see the way we do. And we carry it on our back forever. And they never even put it on theirs for 1 second. So really think about that. How long you carry things that you think are the fault of the experience or the fault of the relationship. And those experiences and those relationships, they've gone on with their lives and they're working in other spaces of their expansion, but the blocks are on your back. You're the one that can take them off because you're the one that put them there. You are in full control of your energy. And a really key understanding is spaces, because a lot of humans run off of stories, titles, roles. They even claim astrological signs. They'll say, well, I'm a this, so you know we're hard-headed, or you know we're blah, blah, blah. No, you're every sign. Yes, you have a space of you in this now that was born in an alignment of what we see as the astrology signs. And yes, you can look at them and you can find these key points in people and say, oh yeah, you can tell she's a blah, 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 or he's a blah, blah, blah. But that's the person that still has the blocks on their back. The person that understands that they're vaster than an astrology chart or a title or a role or a name or a family line, that they're vaster, they're bigger, they're eternal, they're source in a human format, expanding through that space of itself. That being doesn't have the blocks on their back. That being has an altercation with someone, an experience, a thought, and that being senses the energy, reads it, says, well, this is a block. This is a big, dense box of energy. It's a space. Do I want to carry it? Do I want to connect with it? Do I want to feed it? Do I want to continue? Connection? No. Okay. Well, then what is the logical response for the energy? I have to emanate the energy alignment. I control my energy. The experience, the relationship, the person, the thought does not control me. I am the one putting it all in motion, and I am the one keeping it all in motion. And in that moment, allow yourself to either remove some of those blocks, because once you have that ability in those spaces of yourself where the flare up happens and you sense the energy, you read the energy, you acknowledge that that's a space of that energy. Wow, this feels frustrating. Okay. That's a space of energy. That's a wave of frustration. And it was built by the interpretation you had of that experience. You built the wave of frustration. You created it by your interpretation of what you were experiencing. So then, if you created it, you have the ability to shift it. It's a space of energy. It's not you. So then you can allow yourself to have the visual, understand that you're the director, and then you have to do an alignment that matches where you want to go, what you want to experience. So if you know the alignment you've already done that built it to begin with, if you know the interpretation and the vantage point you've already had that created it to begin with, then you cannot run that one again, or it's just going to solidify that. So your strongest point comes from neutrality first. So that comes from wholeness. That comes from understanding you have to see yourself as more than now. There's a part to this the individual mentioned as well, where they said, I'm not getting the wholeness concept at the same level that I want to, because I feel like you say that the wholeness comes through my heart and my heart feels blocked. I don't want to open my heart because I'm afraid to get hurt. And so I feel like I can't get to my wholeness because it's on the other side of the block that I have because I'm afraid. Who's afraid? That's the key. She said, I'm afraid, right? But her I am is her own now version. That's why she can't get to her I am connection and let it flood through her heart to her now version, because she's separated herself out and she's saying, I am afraid. And it's just her now version, her human that she's being in this lifeline that's afraid. And she's separated herself out from seeing herself as the eternal being, that when this now version doesn't exist anymore, she still exists. Her eternal soul, her eternal light still exists. She's just going to stop using that vessel. So that's the space of her. That is the wholeness. This now version vessel and the eternal light that flows through it, that will always be and has always been. That's the vantage point. That's the eyes you need to look through. That's the heart you need to feel through. Yes, it goes within this vessel right now. And the understanding of these connective points, they're not separate. That's the illusion. That's the distortion. That's the downright out lie. Because if you believe that, then you are manipulative. I mean, they can manipulate you. Anyone can. And in essence, it's all right, because you will design the experiences you need in order for you to remember this. That's every single thing we experience. We did it to remember this, that we have a now version that is a human vessel, that our wholeness, our eternal light, our soul is inside the now version, experiencing itself as this now. And the more this reconnective space is given honor, respect, even contemplation, if you can just imagine what I'm talking about. In your free time, you're driving down the road, imagine, picture it. What does that look like to you? That's a tool. That is one of the most powerful tools I can give you. Picture it, envision it, think about it, because anything you think about, you're going to expand your connection with it. So you're understanding, you're picturing, you're imagining, you're thinking about, you have a now format. Everyone here, I'm sure, has probably experienced the death of a loved one. And you miss them dearly because they shared spaces of your life with you and you loved them and they loved you. They were in that format, in connection with their physical spaces of connecting with you. But that person, that soul, that light is still that light, that soul, that being. It's just not using that format anymore. It's just not in that vessel anymore. My father, I talk to him. He works with me in my energy workspaces. My brother, my grandfather, my grandmother, there's plenty of them. My nephew, I know that they are as vibrant and alive as they were when I knew them in a physical vessel. And I allow that to help me with my understanding of this whole thing, because that is real. And I know I have a lot of proof, and I know proof helps people. So use my proof. If you don't have your proof yet, trust me. Hold my hand. I'll walk with you until you have your proof. And the more you have faith in your eternalness, and you allow that eternalness and that faith to grow and totally love, care for, nurture, infuse your nowness, your human body, the more you can do that, the more you are going to experience confirmation of this. Because whatever you feed focus to, you'll see more of. And if you feed focus to being separate and spaces being daunting and overwhelming and frustrating and depressing and all these other, spaces you don't really want to feel, they're just giving you the opportunity to understand yourself as the powerful being you are. That's why they show up, because the alignment of your heart, of your eternal wholeness, that alignment has gotten a little out of whack or a lot out of whack. So these spaces come in, these experiences, these relationships, these whatever thought process is, they all come in to it because it's just us putting the flag up to say, hello, we are out of sync with our wholeness, our eternalness, our light, our soul. And then that gives us the opportunity to say, ooh, I'm going away from my wholeness. I've said this before as well. If you start feeling overwhelmed in a very personal manner like that, that's because you've made it all about the now version being alone and separate and having to deal with everything. So if it feels really personal, that's because you made it really personal. And people will say, and I can say this because I used to say this, so I'm not saying this from judgment. I'm saying this from proof of understanding it so well because I used to do it and I got myself out. But I used to think and feel severe pain because I felt alone. I thought nobody heard me, nobody was listening, and I was all alone. And it took me moving into the understanding of myself of how opposite that was. But I needed to flag myself because I was going in a direction where I was taking myself further and further away from my eternal soul, my wholeness. And I was processing my life from a very separate state of my energy, separated state of energy. And therefore, everything in my reflective world, everything I was experiencing was extremely lonely and hard and big, because that's what I had focused on. That's what I had built for myself. You're building you. You're building your life. You're building your relationships. You're building your abundance. You're building your health with every single thought, feeling, emotion, gesture. Every space of you is vibrating energy, creating the reflective energy of that space. So if there's judgment on yourself when you hear these words and you say, wow, if I look at my life and I listen to her, then I really, effed this up, messed this up, because I have to deal with this and I have to deal with this and I have to deal with this. Okay, that's a thought process. That's a legitimate thought process you can hold. Or you could say, I brought myself this space for a reason. What is it? Get big in your understanding of who you are and own your power. Stop letting the space be more big, more powerful than you, because it's not true. It may feel that way, but it's not true. You have to lean in and say to yourself, what am I trying to tell myself? And then listen and trust yourself and allow yourself to unfold, and know that everything is energy. So know that if you do whatever you've been doing the same way you've been doing it, you're going to continue to experience the same experiences, because it's energy. So then you can say to yourself, is there another way I could move through this relationship? Is there another way that I could handle this space? And always come from you and your heart first. Like, a lot of people, a lot of this relationships and experiences are bringing in the understanding of savior syndrome, where you think you have to save everybody, you have to be everything for everyone, and you're asking you to stop. So you create these experiences. We create these experiences to bring us this understanding, so that we can shift it, because that's everything that we are about, is about continuing to understand ourselves. And with every understanding is information, and every bit of information is energy, and every bit of energy, that information, is a vibratory state of being. And as you get to understand yourself better, why you feel the way you feel when you have that moment, why you say the things you say when you have that experience, why you whatever, those all are, then that's you learning your energy. Because it's not just that you're learning how to communicate better, or how to love deeper, or how to receive. There's so many things we're learning in our experiences, but they are topical in their, learning to receive, learning to give, learning to love, learning to be loved, whatever it is. But then that's energy. At the same time, that understanding you learn, that understanding of yourself, is energy. So as you understand you more, know thyself, yes? As you understand you more, you are also witnessing and experiencing the energetic shifting, expansion, ascension, awakening of you, of you. That's what's happening with us. So we're not running from our feelings. We're not hiding from our feelings. We're not hating our feelings. We're seeing them as conversations with ourselves that we have the opportunity to read into and to understand. And none of this has to be drawn out. I don't believe in shadow work. I don't believe in dredging up these spaces to figure out what happened when, pinpoint it, and get all up in it. I do higher dimensional shadow work. I call it the enlightened day of the soul instead of the dark night. I call it the enlightened day of the soul. And that is the understanding that this is all fast, quantum. Ooh, my ear's toning right now. So you are in a space of yourselves. We are all in a space of ourselves where we are ready to be this higher vibrational understanding of ourselves. We're ready to process our energy faster. We're ready to drop patterns and belief structures and personality traits. And we're ready to see ourselves as vast and eternal and soul and light within a format. And we're ready to bring that power into the format and experience it in the life of that format. You are running higher vibrational energy than you have ever run before. And you are going to see shifts and changes in your life. And all of them are going to be really empowering, in the sense that they are going to be like, wow, more signs and wonders, more synchronicities and confirmations. Are there going to be spaces where you're going to ask yourself to give yourself, you're going to say, are we really done being this old space? Yeah, you're going to have spaces where you're going to have to make that decision, because the only way you leave the room, the old way of being, that energy, that response, that reaction, the only way you leave that room is by walking out the door. So you create the room again until you leave the room, and you don't stay in it and play that game of that energy vibration anymore. People will say, well, I'm tired. I don't want to do this anymore. I want to be out of the room. I want to be done. I understand. I really, really, really understand. But if you choose to play the orchestra of you, then you have to continue to play the music you have written, and be patient and be compassionate and be present with yourself, and allow your symphony to play. Show up for yourself every day with love, and know that you are an eternal being of light having a human experience. This is big. I'm telling you, that is the biggest tool in your toolbox. And there's a lot of people clearing right now from your solar plexus. You're really dropping out some old spaces of understanding. You're letting them just dissolve in the arms of love, and you've gained a lot of wisdom in just the last 32 minutes here. So it is a really big space, but you're bigger. You're bigger. You're bigger. And things should look different. They should look new, and they should fluctuate, because you're owning your power. You're getting a grip of the reins of how you be you. So remember that, remember all of this, and be kind to yourselves as you navigate these spaces. Be kind to yourselves. Tell yourself how good you're doing. Tell yourself how good you're doing. Think about how many years, maybe all your life for some people, you may have said things that were totally opposite, like we always mess it up, or we always end up in relationships like this, or we always have jobs like this, or we always blah, blah, blah. So start saying some new things to yourself if you want to start feeling and seeing some new things in your life. Start saying some good things. Start saying some positive, uplifting, loving things. You deserve it. You are amazing. The fact that you're here says so much, because this is a class that is all about, this is a space, a platform that is all about loving yourself. And allowing, that's a really big one, allowing you to flow in your now, in your fullness, your wholeness, your eternal being. And your individualized personal spaces will be so grateful you did this. All of you will be grateful that you embrace and allow you. You're just so amazing. So, all right. We took up the whole time for that, but it's a big space. And I think a lot of people are really fine-tuning this right now. I think a lot of people are fine-tuning. They're at the door, leaving the room, and maybe there's some clumps they're stepping over, maybe walking through, you know. And so I'm right here. If you want to write me, if you have any other questions or need any other guidance, you can always reach out via email. I'm always right here. And sometimes it's nice just to have somebody listen and validate that what you're doing, it makes sense, and that, you know, you're okay and you're safe, and that they see you. So I can be that as well if that's all you're wanting. And I can also be guidance and advice if you need that as well. But I'm right here. All right, Holy Ones, we're going to move into your sacred alignment, which I think is perfect for this week, doing it this way, that you can intend that if there are any spaces in your physical now version that are ready and would benefit from release and gaining the wisdom of the relationships you've had, of the jobs you've had, of the thoughts you've had about yourself, of whatever it is, that they are ready to go into the next space of you, that you are ready to go into the next space of you. See, those thoughts, those relationships, those jobs, those connections, they're all spaces of you energetically, right? We talked about that. There's spaces. And then you direct all your spaces. So as we do this sacred alignment session, you can hold that intention to allow any spaces that are ready to shift, that you would acknowledge them differently when you navigate your experiential life, that you would have a greater sense of grounded knowing, faith in your wholeness, in your eternalness, in your soul, and that you would flow from that love, because that space of you is pure love. That space of you is source love, God love, goddess love, spirit love, whatever word is for your connotation, your connective point with your understanding of your eternity. That's divine love. And that's why it's so beneficial to allow that space of you to be in all your experiences, that divine love flowing through you, that all these densities just drop off, they drip off, because you really know who you are and you're not separated out into that self space all by itself, but you're within your divine love. All right, holy ones, let's just allow this space, and I will add music to this, and you can come back and revisit it again as many times as you want for the energy space of this as well. But just allow yourselves to take a nice deep breath in, get into a nice position, seated, laying down. You do not have to see me, you can just hear me, and you can close your physical eyes. Allow your inner knowing, your inner sight to open. And I'm just allowing the connection. We're going, beautiful divine one. Everybody was ready to go. All right, we are connected into a higher vibratory state of being. We have a lot of clearing coming out right away because it can't go with you to this higher space of you. Just breathe nice and slow, Holy One. Nice, deep, slow breath in. Nice, full exhale. Beautiful, beautiful. So right away we have someone is clearing, and maybe many of you, you're doing something in your right, like space of the pelvic area where you would have like very low ovaries, the uterus, fallopian tubes, that whole area in there. It's right side. And there's something healing and releasing. Just allow, please. If it's you, you can just allow that. Claim it, allow it, intend it. You'll know. Just allow the space. There's a lot of clearing going on right away, but that's you preparing you for the sacred alignment of you. So it's like you're cleaning up before you have the party. Just allow. Root centers are expanding. Just allow. Beautiful anchoring going on. Just breathing in, nice and slow. Prakyana taua nea. Isiana taua. You are surrounded by light, Holy One. And you are anchored in this understanding of yourself, and you are shining this light within the now version of you. You have reconnected yourself to your wholeness. You have re-established this understanding. You have remembered your alignment. Just allow, please. Breathe. There's a really big clearing going on in the lower heart and the upper solar plexus. And there's an expansion going on between the solar plexus and the heart to create a more consistent and balanced flow of you in your light shaft in the center of your human body. Breathe. It's like there's a door. It's a visual we're being given to assist our mind. There's a door. You can envision it in your heart center. And you've opened the door. And you, your wholeness, your eternal being, your soul light that's always in you, you have made understanding connectivity with this understanding, and you have opened the door. This space of you, this energy of you is flooding in, just like it can leave when you die, when you leave this human form. It is in you now. You are in you now. Your mind right now is making the neuro connection of this understanding. Beautiful. But this energy of you is flooding in through the door of your heart and moving down into your solar plexus. That's how you digest your life, your solar plexus. And it is how you clear, heal, gain wisdom, and move your energy, shift your energy spaces into the next alignment of them, which is then the next alignment of you. Just allow, please. Just breathe nice and slow and just allow. Beautiful. Some of you, your hand centers are activating. They're vibrating, warm, energy moving through them. There's the energy going into the sacral, which is below the stomach, below the solar plexus. This is offering, there's golden lines coming out from your sacral. So like below your belly button, right around there. These golden lights are coming out from this center of you, and they're going out through your auric field around your body, and then out through your connection to the field, because you're a part of the field of everything, the nothingness of everything. And you are, you personally, through your own energy light, are shining out of your sacral right now, out of your field, into the field, and you are healing any connective points with relationships you've had. This is relationship related, man, woman, both. Child, elderly, doesn't matter who they are, where they are, what they are to you. Every single relationship you've ever had, this is important. You're not just doing one here. You're doing every relationship you've ever had in this lifetime is receiving healing and love. Wisdom is coming in to your thought process. Wisdom is coming into your muscle memory. So your perception and interpretation of every relationship you've ever had is going to be on a new vibrational alignment of itself, of you. Some of you are really allowing this to also move through your throat, which is the way you speak your truth. So these healings and all of these relationships are also upgrading your energy of your throat center, of how you will speak about yourself, how you will speak about others. And there's a neutrality and love that is anchored in your vibration. Breathe. Beautiful. You just anchored it. Beautiful. Well done, Holy One. Just breathe. Just breathe. Uyarakea nawatea. Horakikiana tawa. Asakua nea. Aprekea taro. Noto awea. Keniana tawa koa. Abrakakiana taua pupoa. Tene iana tawa. Breathe, Holy One. Your ancestors are receiving the blessing of your shift. You are connected to your family lineage. You are connected to your ancestors. And as you shift, you quantum eternal being of light, You affect the spaces of you in these connections as well in a positive manner of love. Just allow, please. Somebody, your grandmother's, this grandmother's really experiencing a massive healing of their heart, their past sufferings and pain. Somebody's grandmother, maybe more than one, but I'm seeing grandmother healing, grandmother shifting, divine feminine root lines healing, expanding. Her left side of the body is lighting up with vibration and energy. Just allow, Holy One. Breathe nice and slow, nice and deep. Everyone is experiencing their own experiential space of this. Many of you are feeling energy moving through your head, the back of your head, your crown. Some of you, a lot of energy in the stomach. Someone or many feel as if something very large and dense in the stomach has come up to the surface, and it is being removed and then transmuted or dissolved by your love. And then that vibration of healing that you have done to this space of you is now a part of you. At the healed space, the higher space, if you will, the flow space of the love. Just allow, please. Just allow. You're realigning your legs, your root lines. They start, I see these golden rods coming out the back of your heel, the bottom of your foot, the heel. Very, very deep. These are new grounding rod. This is new. You have root lines, yes. These are grounding rods, and you are putting them into the earth right now, the new earth. And these golden grounding rods coming out the back of the bottom of your heel, one on each side, and then the light, as soon as that rod makes the connection with the earth's energy, mother's energy, shooting up the legs, infusing the light shaft, root to crown, with full, that is seen quite clearly here, Divine One, full reconnection to the earth, full grounding. Oh, your cells are soaking it in. Just allow, please. Just allow the sacred alignment of you. Breathe. Uyanatea. Prokoene anatawa. Mene ianakoa. I feel like Earth is speaking to you. Meniana taua, porokikiana tea, asanoa, porokea, abrekiniana taua, tore yausoa, boneneana taua, abebiako, broneneana ta. Just allow, Holy One, waves of purple flooding in. The divine, you. No separation, just allow. Just allow, just breathe deep and slowly, and just fall into you. Uyeyawa, abuwaye, ne yawako, sobo ne yawa seteya, o ne kiao so. Breathe, Holy One, breathe. There's sacred geometry in front of your stomach, your solar plexus, your root, your sacral. Sacred geometry right in front of you. They are spaces of your understanding in the format of this shape, the sacred geometry. Each of you has your unique shape. These sacred geometry symbols are beginning to spin, and they're moving towards you. towards your root, towards your sacral, towards your solar. Your entire core space of your human being is being upgraded. Just allow, Holy One. Beautiful anchoring. Thank you. Just allow. Breathe. You do not live as you have lived. You will live in an alignment of the sacred divine flowing within and through. You will feel the love. You will know the love. And you will bloom and flourish within that love as you allow you. You are surrounded by teams of light. Allow yourself to send them gratitude now. Connect with them, feel them. They do not work for you, they work with you. And you work with them. When you sleep, you are off doing things for others, and for the teams, and for the spaces and places of cosmic expansion. You have multi-selves. You are vast, and you have a focal point of this now human that you see in the mirror. Love her, love him, nurture. They are a space of you that is the only space right now asking for your attention and your focus. It is precious. You are precious. The space is divine. The space is a space of you. Allow you, Holy One. Allow this space of you as you look at you from the eyes of your eternal being. Breathe. Somebody is releasing something from the left breast. Just let it go. Just let it go. Dissolve it with your love. Beautiful anchoring of that release. Thank you, Holy One. Thank you. Just breathe. Beautiful, beautiful. And allow yourself to feel source space, God, Goddess. We're beyond these titles, we really are, but we allow them for the mind. Feel the love. If you say, well, I can't feel it yet, muster up the most amount of faith you've got, and remember that even if it's the size of a mustard seed, it's enough, more than enough. Believe, 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 Holy One. Take my word for it. You are divine. You are whole. You are beautiful. You are one with the divine in this now. Bless the sacred alignment from head to toe. Bless the sacred alignment from right to left, left to right. Bless the sacred alignment up above the crown and down below the roots. Bless the sacred alignment of every space of you. Breathe. Ote yawa, pranenea nakawa, ora kikiara, tanoatea. Allow your understanding that even as we seal it in our love, and we begin to bring the focus back to the now physical vantage point, allow yourself to really make a notation, set the intention, honor the understanding that you are all spaces of you at all times. When your physical eyes are open, this quantum self of you is still running, being, breathing, vibrating. It doesn't shut off or close because your eyes open. You moves into a greater understanding of itself as it allows, as you allow. Allow yourself to understand yourself as this vast, eternal soul, light within this human form. Allow yourself to embrace and think about and envision and imagine and have conversations with yourself or others. Write in your journals. Connect to these understandings more and more, and they will expand as you give them your love. And this is the natural progression of you. This is the natural expansion, ascension, awakening of you. This is what it feels like. This is what it looks like. Just allow yourself to bring your focus back into your physical. And if anyone wants to stay in longer, please just allow yourself to do so. And when you're ready, you can open your physical eyes. And when you're ready, you can make that mental notation that the vibration you are in, the colors you see, the sounds you hear, the breeze you feel, the sound of your own voice is different, vibrationally shifted. Make note of it, acknowledge it, and you will align it, you will solidify it, you will activate it further. You direct your energy, whatever spaces of you you choose to give your focus to. Just allow yourself some nice, deep, slow breaths in. Nice, full exhales. And I'd like to close the space with some audio for you. So I will pause the music here that I will be adding. And I offer this Acasma Bio-Quantum Vibrational Healing to any who choose to receive. If for any reason this recording doesn't pick it up, I will add it via a separate audio. But it will travel to all through the quantum. So if you could just for one more moment, just allow. Yaraseya taute, pake nea ua, pake yatone, kanea zato. I leave this with you here, Holy One. I'm honored and grateful beyond words to walk beside you. Thank you. Unending blessings upon you, Divine and Holy One.